Every day, without fail, I will get probably at least 20, a minimum of 20 people getting in touch with me, be it in YouTube comments or tweeting me at Simon316 or tagging me in pictures on Instagram, also at Simon316, telling me, ha ha ha, Johnny Sins is now a wrestler. Ha ha ha, Johnny Sins is now a YouTuber. Ha ha ha, Johnny Sins, Johnny Sins, Johnny Sins. Sometimes it's Cesaro, sometimes it's Right Said Fred. And obviously a few months ago, more than that, probably about a year ago, we did a video called Why I'm Not Johnny Sins. It wasn't that, it was just capital letters saying I'm not Johnny Sins, but I thought I would address it once again, simply because I mentioned this to patrons over the weekend. If you're not a patron, please think about signing up. So I do all my videos. We're just going to do vlogs all of this week because I've gone away. I'm not here right now. Obviously, it's pre-recorded. I'm taking some time to sort some things out, but I thought, well, I can get a few ridiculous vlogs filmed and we can just smash them out as the week goes on. So I've called it a stupid title, and we've also kind of doubled up on a video I did before, but I also thought it'd be a good way just to talk about the general world of the internet, the craziness that comes along with putting yourself out there. And that's not just exclusive to Twitter or social media, you know, that's life. You can be walking down the road and somebody screams at you something from your car. You kind of hear those stories all the time. It is hilarious, though. You kind of get the two different versions. You get the one, the ones, I don't mind either, but you get the ones I'm more okay with, which is when people are saying it as a joke and they think it's funny and whatever. I don't really care. I will tell you, I've told this story before, I'll tell you again. I didn't know who Johnny Sins was. I know you're going to roll your eyes, oh, you did not. I honestly had no idea who Johnny Sins was. And the only way I found out who Johnny Sins was is I saw all these comments and tweets coming up and I was like, what? And I Googled him. So thanks very much for that for the world of the internet. But you also get this other contingent of people that say it as if, I don't know, as if it's the worst insult of all time. You can call me whatever you want. You can compare me to a goat for all I care. All right, it's your opinion. I mean, in my opinion, the only the similarities are that we're both bald. But that, again, that kind of ties down to something I wanted to talk about as well, because that's what we do as a human race. People have defining traits. One of mine is I have no hair, and therefore we will equate that to somebody else that has no hair. Now, when I did the last video, little spoiler for you, the reason I did it was because then I knew that a load of Johnny Sins videos were getting people's recommended. It was like my really, rubbish revenge, but it made me chuckle. It made me laugh. So I win that one, I guess, on a very lower level. But, I think it kind of sums up the whole thing to do with thick skin, and I can't even think of the right word, but it has almost become, it's almost like the days of school are now permanent, right? Because usually back in the day when there was no social media, and if you were going to insult someone, you rang them up. Some people got bullied in school, but then you get out of it and not everybody calms down, but there was no real way to hurl an insult at you. Like, you'd have to write a letter. Can you believe it? Back in the day, if you wanted to insult a public figure, not saying I am that, but just in general, you'd have to sit down and write, I don't know, dear Telegraph, whatever, blah, 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 and maybe they'd print it in their letter section and you could read it and go, ha, maybe that person will read it. But now, I do find it fascinating. I think because we're so used to it, we take it for granted, it slips over our head. You can just little at sign, and at whoever you want. Johnny Sins, we'll use him, and just say, hey, Johnny Sins, I think you're insert whatever you want here. And there's no barrier to that. And I think, again, I've given it a dumb title, but I think something that started my brain off here was, if you are living in the UK, you probably know about Katie Hopkins. I don't want to say anything bad because, again, people forget that you can't just say whatever you want about people. But I will say, in my opinion, not a very good person. I'm allowed to say that. And some of the things and the opinions she has just makes me want to crawl up and die. Because I'm like, we're both human beings, and yet we are seeing the world in a very different way. But she actually got her Twitter account, I don't think it's banned per se. I think right now it's being looked into by Twitter because Rachel Riley, who again hosts Countdown, which is a show over here, again, this is all apparent. I think it's all true, but she went to see Twitter, had a face-to-face meeting and said, why are you allowing all these things to happen? And they suspended the account as they looked into it. But I find that absolutely incredible. Like, I totally believe in free speech, 100% in free speech. But I also believe in that if you say something, you have to accept there's going to be consequences and that you have to be held responsible for your actions. Like, you can have any opinion in the world that you want, but it doesn't mean that you're right, and it doesn't mean that you're wrong. And if you say something that is helpful or comes across like a bigot or is racist or is sexist or misogynist, whatever, well, there's twofold, really. One, you need educating, or at least, you need to open your mind to this. But two, again, you just have to accept that you can't just walk around with a big megaphone, because let's say, I want to try and keep it as, nice as possible. There's an audio recorder there. Let's say that you really hate people that have audio recorders, right? You really, really hate them. You think they're a bunch of assholes. but I love my audio recorder, and that defines me as an individual. You're not allowed to say you should die, man, with an audio recorder, no matter what your beliefs or thoughts are. You can keep them to yourself, but you shouldn't be able to have a platform that you just hurl things at. I've gone on such a tangent now. I don't even know how I got here. I'm not equating people calling me Johnny Sins to that. That was just my way into this, and it led me to Twitter and so on. But that was my big thing, really. That was my big thing when it happened. I was like, how has it taken so long? You can't see her tweets now, and you may not even be aware of her. Keep it that way. I'm sorry for bringing her into your life. But the fact she was able to do this for so long, and I mean, a small part of me does believe that she was doing it because she found an audience. And maybe I'm giving her too much of the benefit of the doubt. It's still terrible no matter how you look at it. But I think sometimes in life we do try and have identifiers that we believe make us as a person. Again, I was listening to the radio the other day. I can't remember her name. I really should have noted it down. But it was a female, half semi-professional, then professional football player who was saying that when she retired and she couldn't say, I'm a football player, she lost some of her identity. She didn't know who she was anymore. And I think that happens all the time. It made me put something in my brain. And I was like, it's like if I couldn't go to the gym. And that sounds really, really strange. But I think in a weird way, I don't go to the gym for this, but because it's become such a big part of my life, and because I'm able to talk about lifting weights or fitness stuff with you or whoever, that's become kind of what I identify with. And if that was taken away from me, it would be like there's a massive hole. I think the summary of this video is that humans are absolutely terrifying individuals. We forget we're kind of just aliens floating through space, and that brains, do this stuff. But I think sometimes, not all of it, some of it is bad people just being hate. And I don't know which field Katie Hopkins would sit into, but I kind of do believe, people find, again, social media allows you to have this instant reaction, this instant gratification, no matter which side of the fence that falls on, and you get something from it, totally forgetting, that words have actions and words have consequences, and you could ruin somebody's life. And that's what I never understand. I'm not very patriotic. I think it's fine if you are, but I'm very much, we are all humans. Like, we all come in the same way. We all go out the same way. It's completely random and potluck what part of the world we're born in. Like, it is all just land that got separated, and some people went here and some people went there and said, this is this, this is that. So, yeah, this is not what I planned to talk about at all. But hey, look, it's a special week here on Simon Miller's YouTube channel where we are going to do some different stuff. So why not? There we go. Somehow I equated being called Johnny Sins to all of that. Call me Johnny Sins as much as you want. I don't care. As I've said before, and I'll say again, if I put myself out there, I've got to accept the good with the bad. And that's the other thing. You can have 9 comments. Simon, you're the best. Simon, we love you. Simon, Simon, Simon. One goes, Miller, you're a Johnny Sin looking Mother Hubbard. And I'll walk away going, why did that person say that to me? Because that's what we're like. We're human beings. I'm going to stop there. Make sure you tune in Monday through Friday to get more of these. Why wouldn't you want them? Like the video, share the video. Please give me a subscribe. Really close to 100,000. And I'm not going to do enjoy just ranting and raving. So at least I had a good time.